So we've made it to weeks 11, 12, and 13, and I created an online module on technology for this time period. We've got 2 weeks where there's a Jewish holiday on the day of class, but there's only schools only shut down for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Thursday and Friday are classes, which means that there is still work for those 2 weeks. The way that I planned this semester was to really front load everything so you wouldn't have a lot to do then beyond just implementing some of these practices into your class. So here I've got the PowerPoint that I'm using right there. I've got 3 articles for you to read, and you can see those 3 articles are also listed in your first read and review. You already had to read some of these chapters, so I just want you to read and review chapters 10, 11, and 12 in the Snell and Brown book. And then once you do that, you're going to choose an application for the information. So I've got 2 options here. You only have to do one. So the first option is how can you use video modeling to teach a self-care skill? So I want you to select a self-care skill using the criteria in Chapter 10. Identify what teaching strategies to use, decide which skill could be taught using video modeling. So the first one's kind of a brainstorm, and then like how you would teach that skill, and then the third one is if there's one that you could teach using video modeling, you're going to choose that. And then you'll create a video to teach the skill either using the student or the peer, but you must decide on logistics. So when and where, who will do the teaching, and what reinforcers you'll use. And then you'll monitor your students' progress in learning that skill using the video. And you should have at least 5 probes by the time that we come back on the 25th of April. This should be done with the student that you have been working with this semester and doing a lot of analysis so that you're not starting from scratch with someone else. And if you don't want to do the video modeling, then you can do the second option, which is integrating a new technology into your classroom. So I know a lot of you are pretty familiar with different assistive technologies and different web-based educational programs, but I want you to find one that you haven't used before and that you actually have access to. I want you to learn about it and decide how it can support your students' learning and or IEP goals. And then I want you to integrate that technology into your lesson or class. And once again, I want you to monitor your students' progress using the integrated technology. And you should have at least 5 probes on how well they did when you implemented that. And then the third, the culminating project for this is to write a blog post about your experience. And you'll just click on here and you'll write it in right in this section. And oh, look at that! I have that. If you do the video modeling, you will write a description of how you set up your video modeling experience. Add a reflection about the process. So what went well, what didn't go well, what did you learn? What will you do differently next time? How did this impact your teaching? And then you'll also read and comment on your peers' blog entries. And then same thing for the integrating technology into your classroom. I want you to write about what that was like, and then talk to me about the process, and then of course read and comment on your peers. So that takes you through the pieces right here of the module. Now I'm going to go through our PowerPoint. Whoops, I'm starting with the last one. So this is the PowerPoint for this week, and as you can see, we're going to go through this SET framework, which is one of the readings that you'll be doing. We're going to talk about technology and social emotional learning standards, and then we'll look at some websites, some video modeling, and then talk about what's next. So Joyce Miley Zabala works for CAST, and she put together a great article and some really great information on the SET framework for assistive technology. And it's really the industry standard when it comes to technology. It has 4 parts to it: the student or the self. So it should be person-centered but team-supported. The environment being the customary environment where the person is or can be expected to live, learn, and grow. So you're really thinking about future environments as well. The tasks, so specific things that the person needs or wants to be able to do to reach expectations. And then, of course, here's the big one, the tools. So everything that's needed by the person and others for the person to accomplish the tasks in places that they need to be so that so that progress is achieved. So this just goes a little bit more into the student or the self. So what is the functional areas of concern? So what does the student need to be able to do that they're actually struggling to do right now? And this could be any sort of special need, strength or ability, present level. You might find this if you talk to the student or if you examine what expectations you have for the student. And then, of course, you want to have evaluation information. So any data that you have collected as a team on what skills that student needs. The environment is, and the conditions with the that support or barriers to that student's success. So it could be, in the arrangement, it could be in the support, it could be in the materials and equipment, or access issues, or even attitude and expectations of the staff, family, and other support people. Finally, the tasks are the specific things that the student needs to be able to do to reach expectations and make progress. So the functional things that are part of being actively involved in a learning environment are communication, instruction, participation, productivity, and environmental control. So here we go. We've got the tools is whatever is needed by the student and others for the student to be able to do the task in the environment. So we've got, for the student, it could be technology, it could be instructional strategies, it could be a training possibly. And for the others, it could also be training and support on strategies or devices or decision making. It could be management of the support people. So the big idea is that you have the abilities and then the tools to meet the goals. And then when you're thinking about the decision-making sequence, we've already talked about, working together as a team to make decisions on assistive technology. And I just like this, this visual here that talks about the environment, tools, tasks, and of course we've got the student up here. And then how all these pieces go together to help support the learner in getting to the level that we would like them to be. We've also talked this semester about UDL, Universal Design for Learning, and the big thing here is that we don't want to change the curriculum for one student. We want to change the way that we design curriculum in general. So we want to make sure that we have multiple means of engagement for all of our learners. We've got multiple means of representation for all of our learners and multiple means of action and expression. So for all the learners in our class. And if we do a good job designing our lessons and designing our classrooms, then our students will succeed. I like to bring up the fact that there are actual standards for technology. There are the International Society for Technology in Education standards, which those are actually globally accepted in many places, and then each state is allowed to come up with their own standards. This is actually California's Education Technology Blueprint, and it actually follows along with a lot of the International Society for Technology and Education standards, but these are more applicable. These are more showing that we're in development. I guess the big things that I would hit on are that we empower the learner. We help them become digital citizens, knowledge constructors, innovators, computational thinkers, creative communicators, and global collaborators. In California, we look at enhancing technology integration, providing all students with age and grade appropriate instruction. We look at removing barriers and professional development around technology. And then, of course, we've even got it put out that we want to develop and support student recognition programs to measure 21st century skills, standards-based concepts, and allow students to personalize their learning. And once again, we need to increase our our infrastructure, for example, bandwidth, examining the digital divide within our state. And so we're very much a work in progress at this point. So the technology in the classroom, I love this quote: a worksheet is still a worksheet even if it's stored on a Google Drive. I've seen so much in education where we've been pushing the digital divide by integrating Google Classroom into our classes. But if all that we're doing as far as interaction goes is having them fill out a worksheet just like they would if it was a paper and pencil, then we really haven't used technology effectively. Technology should allow the student to explore, design, and create, not just drill and kill. When you did the PowerPoints the other week for the transition, the goal was really for the student to connect with that piece of technology and then bring themselves into it. And of course, we need to have a balance of teachers and technology. It's not just a computer program or an app, but we actually need to have that interaction between the adults in the room and the children. So there's also the social emotional learning standards. And here, the big part that I want you to pull from here is that we federally, even with the Every Student Succeeds Act, we really have started to push communication skills, collaboration, problem solving, persistence, decision making, and empathy as skills that students really need to learn. In some ways that you can do this, also with the technology standards, you've got the 21st century skills, the college and career readiness, and actually we even talk about gaming and how that allows for, students to actually learn these skills. So, it's one of those things where I think if we continue to push the envelope, that we will do better for our students and our children. Here is some different websites, educational websites that you can use in your classroom or that have resources for your classroom around pushing the digital divide as well, and looking at the social emotional learning standards. I'm going to put these links onto the website, and I would love for you to just kind of go around. The one that most teachers in moderate to severe classrooms use is really BrainPop. So I'm not sure if you've checked that website out, but it might be worth taking a look. So we can even look here at BrainPop Junior, and you can see we have all these different topics that we've got there. Click on one, and at arts and technology, and you can find so you can go through and you can kind of play around these different websites and see if there's one maybe that would work for you. And just remember that assistive technology is high tech, middle tech, and low tech. But for this assignment, I really want you to try to find something either middle or high tech for your classroom. Video modeling is one of those research-based skills. I'm having you do the read an article on it, and then that's one of the choices that you can have. And you don't need any bells or whistles or even transitions for your video. I put 3 videos here that you can take a look at that you might find interesting and good for getting an idea of how you can integrate this. But for this assignment, it's more just creating something simple but effective. And then you're going to be actually taking 5 probes, as I mentioned before, and documenting the success of your application for your student. So what's next? It'll be reading or reviewing the readings for this module. You're going to choose and implement an application, so either the video modeling or the integrating technology into the classroom. You'll write your blog about the experience, and then you'll comment on a peer's blog. So as you can see, there's a lot to do here, but I think it's all very doable. I will be out of town until the 11th, but on the 12th I'll be answering emails. So if you need any help or support, please reach out, and I can help you get this done. Have a great week. Bye.